Well, it's 10 o'clock, so if you don't mind, I have a number of things I'd like to tell you and show you. And like with most presentations, there's a lot more than I can possibly cover in a couple of hours. But some of it is extremely interesting, and um,
Oh,
it's
fine.
basic. This is basically a glorified book review from the book Function by Scott Fulton. Um,
Oh,
it's readily available from Amazon, but it was also privately published. So there's very little on the internet in the way of um, typical book reviews, nothing from anybody like the New York Times, or most of the book reviews are people who've read it and thought it was useful or thought it was interesting. And even that, there are not a lot. As you know, I'm particularly interested in low cost healthcare. And I did a presentation months ago in that direction. When I stumbled across this particular author, Scott Fulton, he's a professor at a university on the East Coast, actually, a couple of them, but they're not widely known. And he talks about his courses going out to 50 different universities. And it's kind of hard to even find any reference to them. But some books changed the way I look at the world, and Function accomplished that. Some teachers have a very high density of new or helpful information for my understanding of their subject. Scott Fulton accomplishes that in spades. Almost everything I see of his gives me a fact or a statistic that I was not aware of or that impresses me as being particularly apropos. And some people have a similar approach to worldview and mindset. Um, he seem he seems to match the way I learn. I think for me, he's an excellent teacher. The possibility that he's talking about has to do with basically allowing personalized medicine, immediate feedback, and under my control, a complex subject that's understandable but not oversimplified, if that makes sense. And it makes it possible to filter out some of this complication because of the immediate feedback. Even if his numbers are off by a factor of 2 or 3, the fact that he's making it possible to understand where you are in your health span
mm,
is going to make it possible to acquire much better numbers over the next 5 or 10 years on much larger quantities of people. He's collecting feedback from people who read his book, but it would not surprise me even slightly
mm,
if the CDC or the NIH undertakes to collect this kind of data in the
in the
future.
future.
Yeah.
I think you're feeding back, Kimberly.
Yeah.
One of the things that surprised me is how few followers he actually has. And he's been doing this for 6 years. I thought I would start off with one of the videos he put together 6 years ago. Mined some of the major studies that have been done, usually at universities, and translated the data into particular functions that support activities of daily living, and broken those down into 2 groups, male and female, and plotted them against age. And toward the end, we'll get into some of the details just on a couple of the tests that he's put together data on. But in the book Function, he's selected 40 plus different tests that you can perform yourself. Like, how long does it take you to climb 10 stairs on a normal stair? How far can you walk in 6 minutes? How long does it take you to clamp your fingers together if someone drops a ruler? That is, how long does it take you to see them letting go of the ruler and clamp your fingers on it? And the number of inches that it drops is a measure of your reaction time. How does your reaction time compare with other people your age?
I have
Yeah,
added
Tom.
a Word file to the chat,
Yeah.
which has all of David's resources in that
And a
file.
lot more than you can ever cram into 2 hours. I'm
Right.
not even going to get the 6 that I was hoping to get. Tom?
He seems to have confused pickleball with tennis, but that's go ahead, Tom.
No, he didn't confuse them. I would like, unfortunately, you already exited the video, but I would like to see that chart of the 5 domains of functional health span again, because I wrote down 3 of them, but I didn't get the last 2.
I did a screenshot.
He showed that chart twice. Once was just 1 or 2 minutes before the end, or before you stop.
That one?
Yes. Could you hold that up for a minute or so?
Sure.
That's why I love
When I
this.
first came across the book, I bought a Kindle copy, and that works very well. And it's only $10.
Hmm.
But when I started actually doing some of the tests myself, I felt it was worth getting a paperback copy just so I could find things like that relatively quickly.
Okay, I got it. Thanks.
But it's relatively easy to look at any of his videos and get back to his internet website, which has 30 or 40 videos, many of which are his interviews with other medical people who did some of the studies or had some of the approaches that he's recommending. You don't even have to go to a university. There's enough online to keep you busy for a equivalent of a master's course in health education. And I fully expect that the worldview that he's putting forth in function is going to allow a number of master's theses and probably a few PhDs as more people get involved in supporting their own health span.
Yeah.
Were there other questions?
Don't see any right now.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Does he include any coverage or any discussion about the biome, the brain gut connection?
Not in a lot of detail, but yes, absolutely in general. And in fact, let me see if I can't bring up a link. He has a number of articles in his LinkedIn site. You think of LinkedIn more as job finding, but he's used it for some other things.
Go ahead, Carol.
Carol,
Yes, I have a pacemaker. And I know at least a couple of other people in this group do as well.
Yes.
What do we measure?
I think that was a question for you, David.
Yeah. One of the things that I like in particular, I was trying to share my screen and I shared the wrong one and it went over my controls for my
While you're
Zoom.
dealing with that, David, can I answer Carol's question?
Sure, if you can do it.
I think I can do it. I've been exposed to a lot of this, as everyone might well imagine. Your pacemaker is not a particular gating item. What Fulton would say is, what can you do with your body and your mind at this point in your life? And how can you improve your ability to perform those functions? He does. I haven't seen him talk specifically about pacemakers at all. He talks about cardio health, but he talks about it in terms of recovery from exercise, how long you can sustain exercise. He's all about measuring what your abilities are in the present moment and then telling you how to improve in ways that will give you a longer health span.
Thank you. And I'm sorry, Stan, I have a discussion of why fiber is the great fixer,
Mhm.
and I'm not being able to share it cleanly.
Okay.
Did that answer your question, Carol?
No.
Oh, okay. Your hand is
In other
still up.
words, if I come out good on some particular measure, but my pacemaker is supporting me to do that,
Oh,
what does that say about my health? I-
Fulton isn't talking strictly and specifically about health per se. He's talking about what you are able to do and what you will continue to be able to do moving forward. He's talking about incidentally preventing health adverse incidents. But his focus is on what you're able to do and how you can improve those abilities, whether you have a pacemaker or not.
Back up a step. What he's suggesting is that you figure out where you are right now, and he's giving a series of tests, 40 different tests, in fact, 44 different tests, in fact, that allow you to see how your functions are changing over time as you age. You're using a pacemaker. Would you like to know if you're, well, one of the tests is a resting heartbeat. And that's when you're relaxed, how often does your heart beat? And your pacemaker sets that, or sets a minimum for that. But your nervous system speeds it up from there as you're trying to exercise or walk up a stairs or various activities of daily living. Comparing that change with how other people your age have that change tells you what percentile you're in. You can improve your percentile, which changes your epigenetic response, your epigenome. But what he's trying to do is give you a functional age score to compare with your last functional age score and allow you to look at, suppose because you're using a pacemaker, your functional age score may be what? Let's just call it your actual age, but I suspect it's lower than that. If you look at your balance, is it also at your actual age? If you look at your flexibility, is it also at your actual age? There are 4 or 5 different ways to look at your mental capabilities. Are those at your actual age, or are they changing? If one of your scores is significantly lower than the rest, that would represent an opportunity for improvement. And what he's telling us is that you want to work on your biggest opportunities, if that makes sense.
Yep.
And since we all are limited by the amount of time and energy we've got to put into anything, it makes sense to give these kinds of priority feedback. And it takes a little time to do exercising during the day, to practice, if you will, to use it or lose it. So using it, practicing on the things that would make the most difference makes the most sense to me and to him.
David?
Yeah.
If we're going to have discussion, why don't you stop trying to share so we can see each other better?
Sorry. I didn't realize I was still sharing.
Yep.
How do I stop sharing if I can't see that I'm
Well,
sharing?
it's either you or Stan who's sharing. I'm not sure.
In the
No.
meantime, I'll just insert that the answer I gave Carol about the pacemaker goes for any kind of medications or treatments that you may be on. If they are helping you perform the functions that Fulton outlines, or whether they're just lurking in the background waiting until they're needed to perform a particular function.
Tom Schreitz.
And okay, I can do whatever to raise one of these things, but the cost of doing so includes lowering some of my other scores. How do you find what's the optimum?
Well, actually, it may not lower some of the other scores. What he says is they are interrelated and they depend on each other. And the interesting thing about this kind of feedback is you can see if they are doing trade-offs or if they're all coming up together. Bob? You're
Bob,
muted.
Muted. Go
Bob,
ahead.
you're still muted.
I think actually he dropped off. I hope he'll come back.
Oh, he's back.
There he's back. Okay.
Well, he just,
Did you call on me, Bob Kaufman?
Yes.
yes.
Yep.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to share that. So I played tennis 3 times a week until I was 70, and then twice a week until I was 75. And I went in the summer and hit against the ball machine for an hour most of the time. And so something happened. People kept putting the ball past me all the time. Okay.
Yep.
And then they would lob me and I would go back. This is the worst one because I fell twice. I fell twice going back. I didn't fall going forward. I fell going back, which means I split my head open. Okay. So I have this woman that I married 45 years ago, and she was unhappy with this. And so I stopped playing tennis. Okay. Now I'm thinking maybe I could just hit against the wall or something, or play with people who are 80 years old, 78 like me, who've also lost their reaction time, and maybe that would be good. So this is a good thing for me to listen to. And I hope I can convince she who must be obeyed that he will be saved. So far, he's not convinced. But
The other thing that you might consider is finding a partner who's willing to help you keep the ball in play rather than put it past you.
by partner, you mean tennis partner.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
There are various ways to play games.
Yeah. You'd think I'd
One
be
of
good
the
at that.
things in one of
Mhm.
his videos that I'm guessing I won't get to
Mhm.
suggests that exercises and games and activities that touch on multiple groupings, these 5 groups of
Mhm.
functions.
Tennis would be one of those that would be perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's 3 or 4. He talks about tennis and dancing and
Yeah.
hiking and other things that you can do in social groupings,
Yeah.
helping multiple arenas.
Yeah.
And I have an intuition that just having one arena regarding nerves and mind may not be enough. But
Well,
again, this
there is
format
now
changed my
maybe I'm wrong
view
about
of
this, David.
Healthspan.
Maybe I'm wrong about this, but you know, I bought the book, and maybe it's not really enough. Enough is it's just what can you really do,
Right.
and can you do a little more?
Yeah.
And if you can, that's enough. So uh, for me, I would have fun playing tennis, and I got to find such a partner. Well, okay, that's a good idea. Thank you, David.
Sure. Let me know when you want to get together.
And hit the ball.
Sure.
You can play tennis?
No,
Oh.
I'm
Okay.
even a
Okay.
more
Well, then,
beginner at this point than you are.
thank you, David.
Tom?
Okay. Yeah, I lettered in tennis in high school. Two things, Bob. One is when you're going back for a lob or whatever, don't pedal backwards, turn around and run back. That's the easiest way to hurt yourself, is trying to run backwards. Number 2 is it might be very helpful just to hit against a wall, because that's going to move you around laterally as well as back and forth. If you're playing against a ball machine, you're not moving much, because the ball always comes the same place. So it would be probably more beneficial to hit against a wall or a partner. Same thing goes for pickleball. A lot of the injuries in pickleball come from people trying to run backwards. They got to turn around and run back facing the rear. Also, the side to side twisting, if they plant wrong and then try to turn, that's not good either. But one if you like racket sports, maybe the best thing is table tennis. You're less likely to get hurt, but it's a very fast game, and you have to learn how to anticipate and move laterally mostly, but some back and forth. And it's been called one of the better sports for cognition too, because you have to react very quickly. So I would recommend that as well.
And my local park and rec building has a tennis table in the hallway, as well as pickleball 2 days a week.
Yeah, there are a lot of, well, not a lot, but there are a few clubs where you can play table tennis, often on Saturday mornings, unfortunately, but at other times too. Whether they're convenient, in fact, the JCC, I think, has it Saturday or Sunday every week, and maybe 1 or 2 evenings in a week in St. Louis Park. So you might consider that.
Tom Trites.
Running backwards is tricky. I remember spending hours in Marine Corps boot camp in a group of 80 guys, and we would be running backwards and falling and getting up I'm not sure if the training was especially about running backwards or how to get up in a hurry.
Yeah.
Running backwards is hard. Walking backwards is hard, for that matter.
It's trainable though, if you ever care.
Yeah, exercise. It's your body will learn to do that.
Lynn?
Yeah, I just want to point out that making those kinds of quick turns that are required to turn your body to follow the ball rather than moving sideways or backwards, those quick turns are on his assessment. Those are neuromotor skills, achievements, to be able to turn quickly and keep your balance. So I don't play these games. I never have, because I've always had sore knees. But it seems to me that the advantages of not falling would overweigh the advantage of being able to keep your eye on the ball the whole time. I mean, when you turn, you're going to maybe lose track of the ball for a second.
No, you don't have to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Eric?
Eric,
Once way back, I took a little Shotokan karate, and one of the most practical things they showed us right off the bat, the teacher, the sensei, was how to fall. I think and there should, actually, when I think about it, there probably should be much more instruction in that, especially since it's so devastating for old people. You see, that's the beginning of the end for a lot of old people. They fall and break a hip or something, and then it's all down the hill after that.
Stan.
If anybody has a physical therapist, they can teach you how to fall.
Yeah, I recommend that to everybody.
That was the first thing they taught us in an ice skating class in college was how to fall.
That's the first thing they teach you in judo too.
Yeah.
The first thing you learn if you're learning how to ski.
Stan, did you have something else?
My only comment about tennis versus ping pong is that when I remember being fairly good at both, it was hard to switch because ping pong uses spin from the wrist and tennis uses spin from the shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
And if you get good at one, you start to diminish your quality in the other. That's my only observation there.
My problem was when I was playing tennis and tried racquetball. They didn't mesh well. Table tennis I didn't have as much problem with.
And you have to decide how much money you want to spend on your paddle.
Well, all of this is kind of to the side of the point that he's making. It's not a question of how well you play the game or what game you play. What he's suggesting is that paying attention to our functional capabilities will allow us to see the blind spots that may make it impossible or that'll take us out. And falling is a great example of something that will create a blind spot that negates any of your other skills.
Yeah.
Stan?
One of my biggest challenges now that I've aged a bit is my balance is starting to go bad.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that can be improved. One of the tests that he has in function is balancing on one leg with the other leg slightly raised off the ground. And you end the test when you either touch the floor with that leg or touch your other leg or fall over. And the length of time you can balance on one leg is going to vary with age, and improving your percentile for that particular weakness is trainable.
You know what,
Kimberly?
you know what he recommends for training?
Yeah, I could read you that page, I guess.
There is a hand up.
Yeah, Kimberly, I'm sorry.
You're muted, Kimberly.
Yep, no, I just unmuted myself. So I have to share something with you, very personal. So I'm in my mid 60s. A year ago, I fell in a freak accident walking back home from a homeowners association with my next door neighbor. It was like really, really hot. It was like in the 90s. I literally passed out. I do not remember anything. I'm so happy I was with my neighbor because she called the ambulance. I broke my freaking hip.
Oh,
But the thing is, the doctor, I- you know, the doctor told me when I went back after 2 weeks, he goes, don't use that walker. You don't need it. That's what he told me. You don't need it. And I recovered so quickly, but I think it's because I'm in my 60s. If that happens to you in your 80s, then you got a lot of problems, you know? And I don't know, I just recovered really, really quickly and just, I walk a lot and I exercise and everything. I can't even tell. I was telling Art Fry my post-it note in front of her the other day because he had knee surgery years ago. And I told him, I go, Art, it's like now I can't even tell the difference between my hip that I didn't injure the other one. They feel the same. I can't tell the difference anymore. But it took a year. It took a year. And I did physical therapy too for a couple months. But you just got to keep moving. That's what you got to do. You got to move.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and
Mhm.
your fitness does impact your recovery.
Mhm.
And he talks a lot about reserve, the difference between where you are and what the minimum level would be for activities of daily living. And the larger reserve you have, the longer you're going to be able to keep functioning. But also, the more likely you are to be able to recover from these kinds of incidents, if you
yeah.
will.
Yeah. Well, and then, I used to, like I said earlier, I used to live in Scandia out in the country. Now I live in a townhome with 3 levels. I'm climbing 3 levels of stairs every day. Every day.
And that absolutely
Excellent.
helps with your level. If you, I was going to read for Stan what you could do to work on your balance. He says balance consistently to train supporting muscles and progress gradually.
okay.
So he doesn't give you a lot of detail, but there are some.
I think working your core is important. And
Mhm.
I've been doing the treadmill a lot. I've got as a veteran, I was able to get into every third Saturday on 54th and 43rd Street. And they have a workout room that I can use for free.
Mhm. That's another thing about function. All of the tests can be done except for one without additional equipment. He does recommend a grip strength meter to be able to see what your grip strength is. I was surprised to see that there's as much use of that as there is, but there is quite a bit of data relating grip strength with functional health span. Carol?
Could I ask Dan a question?
Sure.
that place where you go to exercise, that a Legion or a VFW or what?
Oh, Tom, you gotta go in and sign up. It's wonderful. It's
Tom,
called,
it's where you got your free clothes a year ago.
you got your boots there.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And
All
that,
right.
and the workout room is up on the second level and they've got for me, it's the same as being at a Lifetime Fitness or whatever. They got treadmills, they got lift weight benches.
You could take that discussion offline, if you will.
Sure.
We've got a number of people with their hands up.
Hey, Carol, you're next.
Yes, I have been told by medical people that very often when someone says that they had a fall and broke their hip, or they had a fall and, broke some bone, that in actuality, the hip broke and that precipitated the fall rather than the other way around.
I would suggest that you might take a look at some of the videos that he has regarding bone density.
Mhm.
Okay, Eric, you're next.
Yeah, I got a little arthritis in my right wrist here, and so that made it painful and more difficult to open jars and things. So I got these grips, just grip things on Amazon for about $10 a piece, and they're really useful. I don't have the meter to know exactly how strong I am, but they're adjustable on the end here as far as adjusting the
Pressure.
pressure. And you can just start whatever you can do, and then gradually add a little bit. Add one whenever you can, every couple of days or something, and then maybe increase the resistance. And yeah, I found that really helpful.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Kimberly?
I think Kimberly's hand is still up from before.
Yep, you're right. I'll lower it.
Thanks.
Oh,
Tom?
okay. A couple simple things that those little sponge balls you can just squeeze.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like the grip thing you have, only probably not quite as adjustable. The other thing is if you have just a couple little dumbbells,
Yeah.
wrist curls, either
Yeah.
eat both ways. That will strengthen your wrists and hands and forearms.
Also, a can of beans.
Yeah, yeah, just a couple pounds, up to 5 pounds if you can do something like that. But
Yeah.
Good ideas.
Or a bag of beans.
yeah, that could be if you want a little more weight. David, I think we can go on.
Okay.
Tom, what I was going to suggest is what us farmers used to do is a 5-gallon bucket full of water on each hand.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
another of his tests, by the way. How long can you hold 2 5-gallon buckets of water?
That's interesting because a gallon weighs about 8.8 pounds. So 5 gallons, 44 pounds. That's
Yeah, that's a lot.
Pints a
Well,
pound.
you don't have to do the tests the way they're written.
yeah.
The question is, what's your functional level and how does that change if you work on it? You can sort of expect it to get worse. If that's the most useful thing to work on, strength is obviously one of his 5 categories, groupings.
Put my makeup on.
It really seems to me to be a useful way of looking at Healthspan where you can achieve rapid, inexpensive feedback to know where you are, what your blind spots might be, and how to work on the ones that are likely to cause you problems first.
Oh, now we have two more
Lynn?
hands up.
And you're muted.
Um, Actually, I'm not muted on the tablet, which I'm using for sound.
We can hear you, so go ahead.
Yeah. I was just going to say that the only reason for making the tests, for performing the tests exactly the way he describes them, is that allows you to compare yourself with other people your age and gender. Certainly,
to tell
if
where you are on the percentiles.
Yeah, how many
tell
people
what
are
your
better than
odds
you?
are.
How many people are better than you, and how many people aren't as good as you? If you don't care about that, or at least you want to start without worrying about that, you can modify any of his tests to what you feel capable of and keep a record and do the exercises that he recommends to improve that particular outcome and do the test again and keep a record. So you don't have to compare yourself to use this tool.
Doug.
Yeah, I just wanted to share. I just wanted to share the thing that happened with me. I've learned that also being preventive in doing things. The other day, I was trying to take a fan down that I put up in the garage rafters years ago. And I got the ladder, and then I got a bigger ladder, and I just was having a heck of a time lifting it. And I thought, either I'm going to fall on the floor or the fan is. And so I decided, yep, I'll call my son. He came the next morning. He took it out. He said, Dad, this is the heaviest fan. This thing must weigh 30 pounds. And I said, well, it came from your grandpa and grandma back in the 50s, and that's when they built things that way. It was one of those big box fans.
Mhm.
But the point I wanted to, is to start being more aware of your limitations,
Yep.
because you can really get yourself hurt otherwise.
Yep.
I think we're ready for some more, David.
And if you have to use a yardstick instead of a ruler for a while, that's not the end of the world either.
I was thinking the same thing, David.
I would like to have that measured in inches rather than centimeters, but it would.
Why?
My ruler can do the math.
We're one of 3 countries in the world that still uses that old system.
Yeah.
Eric, go ahead.
Yeah, when I was in college, Chinese friends showed me how they amused themselves as kids because they didn't have toys in China. So they showed me how to juggle oranges that we got from the cafeteria to where I could, do 2 with 1 hand indefinitely and 3 with 2 hands. But so recently I thought that might be fun to amuse my little grandsons with. So I got 3 balls designed for that, supposedly, but I can't do it anymore. And I didn't, so I didn't pursue it because it was too embarrassing to show them. But something fun to do, but I couldn't do it anymore. And I wonder, did he mention anything? It seemed like that would be an excellent exercise for developing the skills that he. This is a critical.
I think if you take a washcloth and tie a knot in it, you can do washcloths. Some kind of material that's lighter.
I haven't come across it yet, but I haven't by any means seen all of his videos.
Yeah, maybe I should get him out and start practicing again.
Okay, Doug.
Yeah.
I just wanted to share what happened to me this week. I went from my place down to a major road that's on the east side, and I've gone on that road thousands of times over the years, lived here 50 years. Anyway, I look to the left and there's no traffic, okay? And then I look to the right and here comes a couple cars. It's a 4-lane road. And I thought, okay, I'm going to let those 2 cars pass and then I'll pull out. And I did that, and I, like a knucklehead, forgot to look back to the left. When I started to pull out, there was a car in front of me. They come around the corner, and it's a 45-mile-an-hour road, and I hit the brakes so fast that I almost scared myself. I mean, but I thought, oh my God, I'm really starting to slip. Not the fast, I reacted fast, but not looking to the left again was a major mistake. So it really taught me about timing. That was just a real life adventure.
Lynn, go ahead.
You're muted.
Oh, thank you. I was just going to suggest that to Eric that you couldn't juggle when you first picked up the ball either.
Right.
Okay, H. Tom.
Yeah, stand next to the bed. When you drop them, you can pick them up off the bed instead of off the floor.
Yeah, I've discovered that. Or the couch. Yeah.
And keep at it.
Yeah. Well, have you done it or?
Or you buy a pincher pickup.
Oh no, you do two with one hand and three with two hands.
I am not good at it yet, but I'm getting there.
There's something with someone with a new name, DJ.
Dean?
He's incognito today.
I'm incognito. It's an inside joke, DJ. And I'm drinking electrolyte because I got a lecture from Stan last night. But yeah, I use the real world as my measure, right? Can I cook without burning myself? Can I rewire an outlet in the utility room without killing myself, right? Can I
That one's a little risky.
Yeah. I mean, driving is a great example because, I used to be able to back a car out with 3 mirrors in like 20 seconds. Zoom, zoom. And now, somebody mentioned learning your limitations. That's the way I drive. And they're going to honk at me like I'm an old man. And they go, well, yeah, I am an old man. Get used to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
F you too. I just don't want to run over a kid. I don't want to smash my new car up. And, I want everybody to be safe. Mostly me, I guess, but, actually everybody.
DJ, you wait for the camera to come on and then a buzzer to come on and tell you somebody's walking back there.
Oh, yeah. My Mini has a lot of irritating self-driving or assisted driving. But as I get older, I appreciate that. And I'll share this with you guys anecdotally. I was well into my 70s, working my ass off in a physical job, climbing 17-foot ladders, et cetera, and people would say, I was working on the road, and people would say, so how old are you, Dean? And I said, well, I'm 74. And they go, no, you're not. I'm 58, and you're younger than me. And by all the measures of Fulton's tests, I was. And I just assumed that would go on forever. But you can get rapid change.
Yeah.
You can fall down 4 times and split your head open, and then finally get home to find out you needed a pacemaker.
Ooh.
It wasn't, I didn't choose to have a low heart rate. It chose me or whatever. But yeah, I just thought I was, my dad lived to be 99, and I thought, and he was healthy. He died of old age. And I just thought, well, this is genetics. Well, some of it is, but you have a mother and you have a father and you have 4 grandparents, right? And so you don't know what cards you have been dealt.
And epigenetics
Yep.
changes the cards.
Boy, does it ever.
And a lot of that is trainable, according to Mr. Fulton.
Yes. And I train myself every day. I'm going to go out and finish off the washer dryer electrical blah 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 project this morning, and that will be a matter of
Yeah.
having to think and not hurt myself. I'm done with hurting myself.
Good.
Dan,
Engineers call this latency. As a musician, they know that if you have a specific keyboard that plays synthetic notes or notes from some kind of a synthesizer, sometimes there's a delay between you pressing down on the keys and you hearing it. And or if you're a rock star and you're using a transmitter to transmit your audio to an amplifier, if you're playing the guitar and the PA system is releasing it off at a slower rate, milliseconds can make a difference.
Yeah.
One other thing I might add is Bill Nye has talked about this. You can call it tall guy's disease, but he was concerned about his balance quite a bit, which is why he engaged in swing dancing in his latter years.
okay, I wanted to mention, it can be misleading to look at one or two of these indicators, like blood pressure versus heart rate. Long distance runners often have a low heart rate, like 50 beats per minute or even slower when resting. That does not necessarily mean they're healthier. It could mean their heart is enlarged or something like that. So you have to look at several of these together. Also, I wanted to mention that Stan, you were just talking about the latency.
Yeah.
I'm often frustrated at stoplights. It seems like when the red light turns green, I don't think it's because of inattention. I think their nervous system is so slow. It takes them several seconds to register that, oh, now it's green. Now I have to push my foot down. And then it takes a while to get the foot down. So I don't know what's going on, but
I noticed that too.
I'm ready to go, and a lot of people aren't. So I don't know.
You have about 5 people in front of you, you might miss the light.
Well, they might be driving a standard.
Yeah.
I have a sore spot on my left foot, so I have to sometimes pull my shifter into neutral and then release the pressure off my sore foot. And then when I get to a green light, I have to put it back in gear and get the hell out of there. So
yeah, D knows what's going on, and it's cell phones, and we all do it.
Well, sometimes it's inattention, but I'm not sure.
It's all the above. Distracted driving in general, and everybody has learned more patience. And you notice that, at least in my neighborhood, everybody backs off about 10 feet now between the car in front of them, because in case because people do pick up their phones at a stoplight or look at them, look at their screens. Anyway, somebody mentioned about grip, right? That was Eric the Hand. And this is my test right here. So I'll buy these electrolytes, right? And I can't. Sometimes I've had to go get a pump pliers to get the damn cap off.
Yeah.
And I go, "Are you kidding me?" You know. So I've been using I'll sit here and I'll say, "Nope, I'm going to keep working on it. You'll get it, Dean." And I actually use this as my grip strength increaser.
Oh, here's a tip that a cheat that a girl taught me when I was 21. I couldn't open some drawer, and she just took it and just tapped it on the hard surface, not enough to break the glass of the jar, but and then or maybe on each side, and then it becomes much easier.
Why do you think I had one wife and many girlfriends? You know, hey, Dean, can you get this open? I go, no, but if I tap it on the floor or the counter,
Yeah,
I can open it with 2 fingers.
Okay, one thing.
yeah,
Glass bottles are different from plastic bottles.
yeah.
Plastic bottles, I found that if you hold them near the top with one hand while you're trying to turn it, that slightly deforms the opening and makes it much harder to open. Hold the bottom and then twist the top.
I just learned something. Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
On some jars, hot water works too.
Yeah, on glass jars and with metal
Yep.
lids mostly. Yeah,
Yep.
not so much on plastic. Go ahead, David.
Actually, I was hoping H-Tom might have something to say, and then I'd like to kind of tie this together.
Oh, the thing about traffic lights. Marty always, we're sitting there and the light turns green and Marty says, go. And then I go. I'm not waiting for her. When I see the light change, I say 1 to myself and then go. Because I've been a witness to too many accidents where somebody tried to jump the green or buzz through on a yellow.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'll let the intersection be completely empty for a whole second or even 2, because I've been in enough accidents that I don't want to be in any. It was very amusing watching the airbag unfold and wrap around that guy's head. But I don't want to do it myself.
Sensible.
I'll wait. That second
Is
isn't
it
gonna.
real quick, Dean?
Yeah, real quick. I don't know what it's like in Minnesota. It can't be any worse. But here, yeah, you have to go 1001, 1002, 1003, because they will blow lights 3 seconds after the light has turned red, or a second and a half. They'll be 100 feet from the intersection. It'll turn red. They have plenty of time to stop.
Yep.
And they'll blow through it.
Yep.
And I do not. But I'm me and they're them. So
No.
Yeah, while
Yeah,
you're
you know-
sitting at the red, you still have to be aware of what the cross traffic's doing all the way till it turns green.
Many people, a yellow light means floor it.
Go faster. Go faster.
Well, the other
I'd
thing,
like a couple of minutes to wrap
yeah.
up a couple of thoughts before we run out of time.
Floor it.
There are numbers of things that he has to say that I think are useful to for people of our age, in particular regarding what we think of as diseases of aging that are neurological, Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. It turns out that Alzheimer's is no longer a death sentence. And one of his partners, one of the people he interviewed, was a doctor who got Alzheimer's and cured it through lifestyle interventions.
Does he say how?
Oh yeah. Yeah, there's that information's available. The doctor is Bredesen, I believe, that wrote the book on it.
Oh yeah.
But the doctor who was his first success story is still creating videos. That's just one arena that I didn't get to, that I thought was extremely interesting. There's a program for helping people with neurodegenerative disease that can positively impact their progression. It gets lumped in under neuroplasticity, but stroke recovery victims have basically transferred their neural function from one hemisphere to another in the process of their recovery. One of the things that I like about Function is his credibility. The feedback you get from monitoring your progress, his whole program is internally consistent and potentially extremely valuable. Who wouldn't be motivated to spend an hour a day for years of additional health span? Even if it doesn't extend lifespan, which it might.
Mhm.
The return on investment looks attractive. This story has changed my priorities. It has the potential to involve a lot more of us in the support of our health, and that has implications for our future. The medical system in the United States is not really healthcare. It's disease
Treatment.
Management.
management
Yeah.
and very expensive disease management. The other thing about Function is it doesn't cost an arm and a leg. It's basically extremely cheap in most cases. His focus is on affordable interventions, personalized medicine. I fully expect to see this impact medical care over the next 25 years if we last that long.
Yeah.
Partly as a disruptive innovation from the fringes, from the outside of medical care. He's not widely known yet. Dean?
Dean, you're muted.
Yeah, I just ordered the book as you were speaking,
Yeah.
and Function, and $16.95 for the paperback.
Huh, I thought it was 19 the last time I looked.
Well, okay, it's down 38% or do the math. Yeah, no, I agree. But yeah, when you talk about cognitive, what was the term? Degenerative, cognitive, degenerative, and
Yeah, neural
Alzheimer's,
degeneration.
neurodegenerative disease.
Oh, and the book isn't going to tell you much about
No,
those issues. For that, you need to look at his videos.
all
And
right.
he has a library through his Healthspan
Yep.
link.
But my
Well,
point was that there is Alzheimer's and there is normal neurodegenerative blah blah blah. And Alzheimer's to me means early onset Alzheimer's. People get it when they're 45. People get it when they're 50.
People get it when they're 20.
When they're 20. And that is at least partially, or who knows how much, hereditary. But
Well, we know how much.
we probably do. But the point is, in your other point, and then I'll shut up. is that cognitive degeneration or Alzheimer's is not a totally untreatable problem. It is treatable.
Yep. Again,
Yeah.
Dr. Bredesen has written the book on that one. 2 or 3 books on that one. And I had one other thing I wanted to say, but it flew away.
Oh, Dave, same on positive about what your book. Before I ordered it, I asked Supergrok if any major aging expert had criticized it negatively, and none had. It said, so I ordered it.
He's done an amazing job reading some of those 2,000 medical studies released a week.
So I don't know of any major negative criticism of it.
No, I wasn't able to find any either. Carol? And you're muted. Carol, you're muted.
Yeah.
Stan has been up for a while, long before Carol.
Oh, sorry. Stan?
Oh,
Well, Carol can go. I don't care.
Until she unmutes, we're not
All
going
right.
to hear her.
What I'd like to see happen is for Scott Fulton's strategy to become modus operandi for the American healthcare system. But as we all know, it's more interested in symptoms. And I think that one of the other things that the other analogy I make is to listen to Nick Hanauer, for example, just talk about the economy and measurements for the economy, and GPD. What is the growth? What is that? What's the economic?
GNP, gross national product.
Yeah, that he says if you have a hurricane and you have to fix all that up, what is it? What is it, Tom?
It's GDP usually.
GNP,
Domestic product.
Yeah.
GDP goes up when those disasters occur.
Yep.
And so it's, there's got to be another way of measuring human wellness and human satisfaction. So I think there's this parallel strategy here. And I think that maybe the profit motive is kind of one of the resistance points to making that really
Absolutely.
work.
Yeah, exactly.
not kind of exactly.
Follow the money.
It goes back to a paradox. If you're head of an adult, there's a paradox called if you have a foster care unit and you get all the kids fostered out, then you don't have a job.
yeah. Well, yeah, it's a pharma industry. They don't want to cure you, really. They want to keep you on an expensive drug the rest of your life for whatever
They
ails
sell you
you.
cigarettes until you have to get rid of that, and so that they sell you nicotine pads and those.
And when I took medical school neuroscience, and they were already the pharma. I was amazed that this is only second year students, and all the pharma companies were already giving them big, expensive leather bags and things. And yeah, it is a horrendous conflict of interest there. I could see right away.
Carol,
Yeah.
Carol, you're muted.
We can't hear you, Carol.
You can now.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes.
David, would you give us this, all the stuff that you didn't have time for the next time around?
Stan posted
Probably.
a Word file with all these links, correct, Stan?
there's a Word file that David gave me to have you see these presentations.
Can you just post that in the
It's in the chat.
chat?
Yeah, it's in the chat.
It's
Okay.
probably high
But you
up.
have to download it during
Yep.
the meeting.
Yep.
Yeah, if you save the chat, you aren't going to get that file.
And I apologize. I was hoping to get 7 of the videos,
I
and
don't
we
see it.
managed 3.
That's
Um,
why I'm asking you.
Unfortunately, I put it together as a package, and what's left doesn't fit as a presentation because you don't have the introduction.
Well,
It's been awesome.
Thank you.
Very good.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm very inspired now.
I had no idea what this was going to be, and yeah, it was. It's a. You could do a whole Zoom meeting on this stuff.
You could do a college course,
Yes.
Yeah.
and he
Yep.
does.
Yep.
Yeah,
He
and I
has
think
3 of them that I know of.
I think I have one of those books by Bredesen. I was just looking for it, but I couldn't find it.
Yeah.
Do you have
Well,
any of his titles?
The End of Alzheimer's is one of them, but it's not. The Ageless Brain, I believe, is
That's the
another.
one I have. Yeah.
That's
Lynn?
Oh, I was just going to suggest that by the time it rolls around again for it to be your turn to present, you can probably use the material you didn't show or even some more recent material. And maybe
We could talk about the future of the American medical system.
It's an endless topic.
we don't
Um,
need to talk about that. We all know what's going to happen there.
I don't
Well,
know.
we have a lot more
Our own
control
futures.
over our health span than we do over the American medical system or
This
the economy.
presentation has given us some hope in that regards, and also it's about our own futures, which is of infinitely more interest than the world's future, if you will.
Which is looking pretty iffy at the moment. Yeah,
yeah.
They
No
are
world.
intertwined,
My
though.
future.
they
The
are.
world ends. My future is probably going to be very different.
Yes.